What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. It has been a while indeed since I've commentated over a video or even really uploaded in general, but I am back for a race here at Portimao, Portugal. It's a relatively new track, and yeah, this is PSGL, Tier 1. Quite a few of the Esports drivers dropped out due to Esports literally being next week, and I got asked to do it, so I thought, why not? I'll turn up and do it. And we're here in Q1. We did an okay lap, but probably not one good enough to get us through, safely get us through. So we're doing a back-to-back lap here. We're a tiny bit up on our time, and gaining a bit more time here and there. But yeah, the aim for this race, honestly, is to have maybe a top 5, because the grid isn't as strong as it usually is. No disrespect to anyone, there's just literally less esports drivers in it than usual, so I think it's fair to say that. So yeah, a top 5 would be good, I'd say. As we make a bit of a mistake, they lose a bit of time. But who knows, even there could potentially be more, as I feel like my pace going into this was actually relatively good for once. There was a few things I was missing out on. I didn't really know how to do the last corner, and I was quite bad at the last sector, but I think my overall pace was actually really quite good. Not in Q1, I've only done the 16.2 across the line, but that was just about enough to get us through. We were safely through in the end in P13, not preferable, but not too bad in the end. Now skipping on to Q2, I couldn't show you all of my medium run because my recording, you'll see a little bit here and there, the frame rate, as you just saw a tiny moment there, the frame rate wasn't great, and the first part of the lap was pretty much unwatchable. But luckily we get to see the end of it, and yeah, the last sector wasn't great again, but the rest of the lap for a medium tyre was really quite good. And we're going to come across the line now, and it's going to be a 16.2 again, so I think we almost matched our softs run on mediums, and that means we're safely through to Q3 on the medium. We were a tenth and a half up on Danny Moreno, who was the quickest medium runner until the last sector, and only Jarno and Jake Benham managed to get through on the medium. So we're in a really good position there. As we skip on to Q3 now, and on our final run, we invalidate at turn 1. Luckily though, I had enough fuel to go for another one, but we're just adding more mileage to the tyres, which isn't really a good thing at all. And it'll just hamper our overall lap time slightly, but we're not starting on these tyres luckily, so we won't have that effect. But what it does mean is we won't have any new sets of softs for the actual race, because we used all of them. And this set, if it was going to be our least worn set, it probably was, they're now going to be more worn, so we're slightly hindering ourselves. As we had an okay first sector, it wasn't great, to be honest. I went deep into turn 2, and yeah, I really quite struggled there. As here I've had a snap of oversteer, and we've lost a lot of time in the exit. I made a mistake at that corner on the previous lap, and I lost more time there, where I should have been gaining time. But we gained time here, and we're at 0.0 going into the last. We're about a tenth and a half off what we really want to be doing. As we go wide there, which again doesn't help our lap time. We're just not hitting the apexes, just gathering some understeer, which I was really quite struggling even for the race, the final corner understeer. As we're going to come across the line to do a 15.7, as Lucas Blakely does a 15.5, which is honestly quite insane. But yeah, that's P4 overall, which the lap itself was not good. We could have easily done a 0.6 if we just cut out a few errors. So we're a few positions down maybe on where we could have been, but I think overall the position's good. Now, going on to the race, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we don't really go, because I don't know if you noticed, me and Dylan Warren on the second row, we had a delayed start. And that means Wilson Hughes and Jan Otner get past me and Dylan, so we both lost out quite badly through no fault of our own. I think the delta time at the end of the session showed that we lost about 3 temps, just on the reaction there, which obviously is not going to help us, as we've lost a position to a soft runner and a medium runner. So we're now the third medium runner, I believe. But even though that still happened, we are in a good position as Jarno and Dylan go side by side. They go a bit wide, and we managed to get the cut back on Dylan and into P5 again. So we've only lost one position really to Jarno. Well, we lost one to Wilson, but also gained on Dylan. So we've only really lost one crucial position, and it's to the PSGL champion. So it's not like he's going to be holding us up at all. As Dylan has a little look on our inside, we have to leave him the space, but we do just about keep the position. Moving on to lap 7 now, and as you can see on the right hand side, Lucas Blakely, who is leading this race by quite a distance, he's spun off and got wing damage. Through no fault of his own, he got hit basically by a retired car, which is extremely unlucky as we get our first warning of the race. Yeah, it was a pretty poor turn 1. Yeah, Lucas Blakely had robbed of a good chance of a win because he had a good gap. Even though he was on the softs, he definitely could have challenged for the win. As we are skipping on to lap 15 now, Wilson Hughes did pit. Jeff's telling us to pit, but we don't want to. We want to go a few more laps longer. Now on lap 21, we're still quite close to the back of Jarno, who's almost lost DRS to his teammate Danny. We've got a good amount of DRS, not a lot, but a healthy amount. We're about 7 tenths behind Jarno, and I see him pit and I decide to follow him in. Not really knowing where to brake, we gain a bit of time on Jarno, who didn't really know either. He didn't practice that much for this, and neither did I practice for the pit entry, so we both were a bit cautious going in. But yeah, so far the race has been not that entertaining for me, but a good race so far. We are in a good position to fight in this final stage of the race as we come up just behind Jarno. Lucky not to get held that much. At all really, but as you can see, there's a group of 3 cars. Wilson Hughes doing one, I think it's Simon Perigny. They're all on the mediums, but they have undercut us because obviously they're on fresher tyres than we were, and yeah, they just managed to get the position, which isn't great considering Danny Moreno is still out on track and he could potentially overcut me and Jarno and jump all these cars. Yeah, that would not be good at all. But speaking of which, Jarno's trying to make a move on Simon, as we really have to try and follow Jarno through here. We do not want to get stuck behind soft runners who will have DRS on Jarno, as that will just make it much harder for us to make any moves at all. As you can see here, we've got the overspeed. I think they're on a bit higher downforce this week. Have a little look on Simon Perigny and someone. We don't get Jarno, but we've managed to follow him through. And into P5 now, just as I was saying, Danny Moreno, he's got out in front of Wilson Hughes, and me and Jarno are kind of stuck behind these 2 soft runners, well, soft to medium runners ahead. So yeah, that's really going to allow Danny to get out of our DRS and pull away and win this race really. That's almost won him the race there. The other factor being he was absolutely rapid. He was quicker than Jarno, he was quicker than me. Jarno, I believe, he didn't practice much for this at all, so his pace wasn't up to his usual standard, maybe, I think that's fair in saying, especially in qualifying, but in the race he was rapid as usual. But he was running higher downforce than us, which made our life a little bit easier at some stages, a little bit harder in others, as Jarno goes from Dylan 1, we're going to follow him straight through into the final corner, and we get the position, and we're into P4 now. We have a bit of a frame drop again. Yeah, gonna have to fix that, or sort that out for next time. But it shouldn't happen too much, as now behind Wilson Hughes, the frames are not liking this at all. But it's a bit weird. It only happens in short periods for like a lap or 2 at a time. So we get past Wilson Hughes, as you can barely see it, but that should be the last of the frame issues, I do believe. Now on lap 27, we're starting lap 27, we're right behind Jarno. We haven't got any ERS because we had to use it all to get past Wilson and co. And we could have had a look on Jarno, but I just decided to back off and try and save a little bit of ERS on this lap, because usually I do like to be in the in the lead. Obviously it wouldn't be in the actual lead, but leading Jarno in this case. I like to be in the lead and control what's really going on. But I thought I'd just stay behind for an extra lap to try and gain some sort of battery, because yeah, I didn't really have any. So yeah, this stage of the race, while it was nice to be in this high position, my wheel it was about lap 11, it lost most of its force feedback, so I could really feel much of what was going on. I could kind of feel, but it was really quite weak, so if I had a massive snap of oversteer, it wouldn't have ended well for me. So I was kind of driving off memory of how the track really should feel usually. So I had a few moments where I didn't quite anticipate a slide or something like that, which wasn't that helpful. But overall it wasn't too bad. I could manage it. But yeah, on the end of lap 27 now, we are a little bit further behind Jarno than I would like. But I'm going to go for the move anyway. We didn't save that much ERS, and I used probably a little bit too much, but into turn 1, we're going to get the move done on him, and now we really have to start saving some ERS, because what Jarno is really good at is he's good at saving. He usually has a lot of ERS to play with. And yeah, instead of, we're not going to be able to break out of his DRS because it's Jarno. He's absolutely rapid, and even on an off day he's still rapid. So we tried to save as much as we could, and going on to the end of the penultimate lap, we're about 60% ERS before starting the final lap, which is okay, but Jarno's on 100%, so we are down in that department, but we do have track position and we have lower aero, so that is going to help us out. But Jarno has the DRS, he has overtake, and he's going to try and move. He's not close enough to go on our inside, but he's going to have a look around the outside. We go in a little bit deep, and Jarno gets a switchback move on us around the outside into turn 2 or 3. The nature of that corner, you just understeer on the outside, so Jarno does get the track position, but he's been given DRS by a ghosted car, which doesn't help us out at all. He defends the inside, we have a look around the outside. We're not going to quite get the switchback done, but he does get a pretty poor exit, and I know with lower aero I can use some overtake here. Into turn 7 and 8, side by side with Jarno, the PSGL champion, F1 Esports champion. We have a little bit of a moment on the rear, and we do just about get the position. And we use some more of our overtake just to stay ahead, but really what I've done here is use too much of my battery. I haven't got enough left to really fight if Jarno has a lot left. And we're defending the inside, we have little moments there, we understeer quite wide, and we cover the inside here, which was a mistake because I just understeered wide and not hit the apex. And we're going to use our overtake. We have maybe enough to get to the line percentage wise, but we've used our deployment, and Jarno is just about to get us on the line. It's very close, but he actually had a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, I'm not sure where he picked it up, but he did, and it didn't get removed in the end. I think he was a little bit annoyed that it didn't. So yeah, we fought him knowing he had a penalty, but we just had to put that at the back of our mind because we know these sorts of things can get removed. But in the end it didn't. So that is P2 for us in, I think this is my first PSGL race on this game. The grid wasn't up to its usual calibre, let's say. I think that's probably the fairest way of putting it. There was a lack of esports drivers, really. But when you're up against Jarno Opmeer, Danny Moreno, it doesn't matter what the rest of the grid's like. You're up against really good drivers still. And yeah, we did everything we could. We got P2 with 5 seconds off Danny in the end. When I passed Jarno, it was about 3.5, so we lost about 1.6 seconds, saving ERS, etc. And the fact Danny was just probably a little bit quicker than us. I feel like I really had the pace, if there was no DRS, to match Jarno's lap times. Not quite Danny's, but I feel like I could have done the same pace as Jarno. But yeah, that's going to be that, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon. Goodbye.